Hey everybody, how's it going? Oh my goodness. Okay, so this is going to be like a total hodgepodge sort of video, but there's just a bunch of little things I wanted to talk to you guys about. So let's see if I can remember everything. First thing, I am working on the charms for your journals, and thank you everybody who snagged one of those journals. I really, really, really appreciate it very much. So I'm working on them. I'm trying to get them done. Just waiting on a couple people to get back to me on what they wanted for their charm. I'd like to be able to do all the letters at the same time, and I apologize that it's taken a while, but I promise that I will get them done very soon. Okay, so that, and then also just real quickly, I did kind of a little test, I guess, of some different papers to see, kind of like if I really wanted to invest money in photo paper, So I went on Amazon and I ordered 2 different photo papers that were made to use with an inkjet printer. Okay. In the past, I've used my laser printer for printing most of my color stuff, but I've moved to an inkjet now. And in case anybody's wondering, I'm using the EcoTank. It's the 7720. It's the Expression model. So it's the one, it's black, and it takes 5 different inks. So it's got 2 blacks, the photo black and the regular black, and then, cyan, magenta, and yellow. Anyway, so I've moved over to the inkjet, thanks to Shaq. Anyway, so I've been trying to find paper that I can print on where I get the same or similar results as when I was using the laser printer with not photo paper, but good quality paper that was made for the laser printer. So anyway, I guess what I'm trying to say is I'm trying to find paper I can use. So one of the papers that I had actually found at a thrift store was an HP brochure paper, and it's amazing. Like, I love the way it prints. Like, the color saturation is awesome. It's just got a little bit of a sheen to it. It's just a really nice texture. It's pretty thin, I don't know what the weight is on it because I don't have the box anymore. And but anyway, so I wanted to print. I just printed the same image on different papers just to kind of show you guys the difference. And so if you ever see that HP brochure paper, like at the thrift store or something like that in a box, a lot of times people buy it because they're making some brochures and they never get around to making them, and then they just toss the paper in the Goodwill box. But anyway, I find a lot of photo papers and stuff at the thrift stores. Anyway, but I love the way it prints. The only thing about it is that it has that slight little like crease that, I mean, if you're cutting this apart, it doesn't really make that much difference. As long as you don't fold it, like, it really doesn't, it's not like it's pre-folded or anything, but there is that little bit of a, like a score line kind of in it. Anyway, it's really nice, and you can print both sides the same, and it's one of my favorites. Anyway, so this is the paper that I used in my laser printer, and I loved it, but it doesn't give me the same result on the inkjet printer. So it's a hammer mill. It's a 32 pound, just color. It's made for color copies by hammer mill. It's a 32 pound paper, and it's really nice paper, but it does not give you the same result on the inkjet printer. So I happen to have a couple reams of it, so I'll probably still use it anyway. But anyway, now these 2 papers, well, let me talk about these other ones first. So I was trying to find like a lightweight cardstock that wasn't super expensive, because I like to just print out things and then cut them apart and use them as journaling cards in my journals. But I want something that's going to print a really nice, image. So anyway, I ordered a couple of different ones. This is that accent paper. It's sort of like Amazon's brand, I guess. It's not the Amazon brand, but anyway, I don't have the wrapper. All I saved was the label. I'll leave links in the descriptions if you guys are interested. Anyways, so this paper is actually just a copy paper, but it's a 40-pound paper, which I don't really understand why it says 100 pounds. Doesn't seem like it's 100-pound weight. It said 40-pound in the description, and so I thought it was going to be like the 32-pound paper, but just slightly heavier, but it seems even heavier still. Anyway, it's just a regular paper. It's okay. It's fine. It's just, anyway, it's listed as a copy paper at, a different weight. Anyway, at a heavier weight. I don't like it all that much. So anyway, and see the difference in the color already? Like, see the difference in how they print? Like, this one's a little better than that hammer mill one, and then the brochure paper is even more vivid, I think. But anyway, and then this was kind of the same. This was basically listed as a lightweight cardstock. It's a 65-pound like cover paper. Okay, I wasn't real happy with my printer. Kind of went crazy there. I don't know why it printed on two pages, but it's a little better than this one, but not much. I mean, I prefer this over this, but it's not, they're very similar. I've been looking mainly at this red here and the way that the ink is actually adhering to the paper or absorbing into the paper, and it seems like it's a little smoother on this than it is on that one. So that's good. Anyway, so this is a matte photo paper. It's just some kind of weird off-brand. I'll leave it in the description. Again, it's okay. Like, as a photo paper, it's extremely thin. It's very, very thin. But it was 80 sheets of 8.5 by 11. It was 80 sheets for around $11. So if you're just wanting a really nice image that, and you don't care so much about the weight of the paper, like say you're going to glue this onto something else anyway, like I think this is acceptable. But I would honestly recommend the Koala brand over that one. Why didn't I keep the brand on there? I guess it was because I just was keeping it for my own knowledge. But anyway, but this Koala one is really nice. Again, it's thin. This one you can print on both sides, so it doesn't matter what side you print on. Apparently it's the same on both sides. This one has, something on the back. I thought at first, oh my God, is it sticker paper? But it's not. Kind of worried me that maybe I accidentally ordered sticker paper, but it's not. It just has that on the back. So that way you know what side to print on. And so obviously you would have this side up when you put it in the drawer so that it'll feed through your printer like this, and it'll print on the front. Anyway, this one is probably my favorite of all of those papers. Just the color saturation is amazing. Like, just made, even between these two actual photo papers, The Koala one is better, I think. If you look at this mushroom, like this one is kind of splotchy throughout there, and this one is more, I don't know, it's more solid. The same with like this mushroom compared to that one. This one is just like a richer color, and more, I don't know, it's like crisper or something. Like you can see in the red on that. It's more saturated. Anyway, I like that Koala paper. And again, and this one was 100 sheets for about the same price as this one, where you only got 80 sheets. So this one, I think that Koala brand is probably, I'm going to buy it again. Like I will definitely buy it again. I might buy something a little heavier weight. Like I haven't looked at pricing. These are all matte papers. They're not, none of them are glossy, except for that brochure paper is kind of like a luster sort of finish, you know. Anyway, I just wanted to show that to you guys because I thought it was kind of interesting. I will leave links in the description to both of those photo papers. If anybody's interested in any of those other papers, I can find them for you and link them, but I'll just make sure and link both of those photo papers for you. So especially that Koala one is nice. Anyway, and then I've been cleaning house, and I wanted to just throw these out there because back when I was doing the monthly minis, the subscriptions, I was doing a monthly kit, and I was doing a monthly mini journal subscription, and I had some leftover kits from different months. So I just, you know, I've had them just in a filing cabinet for months and months, and I just wanted to see if anybody was interested in these. I can't show you everything that's in them because that would take an hour and a half, but so there was, looks like 3 from that month. So this one has like some quilt top, and then, you know, they're just junk journal kits, and they were sort of like a surprise each month. You know, if you were one of the recipients of those subscription kits, then you know what I mean. Like I never told you what was in the kit. I just made the kit and sent it to you, and I decided to kind of stop doing that. But anyway, so I've got 3 of that month. These ones look bigger because that fabric is so thick, but they really are kind of about the same amount of stuff in each one. This one's got you know, some of my favorite papers, and then it's got some of my little crocheted flowers, and I don't remember what's in that bag, but they're kind of like a surprise. Okay, so if anybody would like one of these, send me an email and I will send you an invoice. These are, when I was doing this subscription, they were $45, but I can do these for $30 if anybody wants one. Just send me an email. I'll put my email in the description, and I'll send you a PayPal invoice. Now, if I ever tell you that, whoa, sorry. If I ever say I'm going to do that and you don't have a PayPal account, don't worry about it. You don't have to have a PayPal account. All you need is a debit card or a credit card, and you can pay it. It doesn't matter if you have a PayPal account or not. And then the other thing is I've still got 4 of those paper packs that I had mentioned a couple months ago. These are actually listed in my Etsy shop. So this is a collection of papers that I like to use in my journals. And I can't really show it to you because they're all packed up and ready to just put a label on, but these are the packs that I had shown a couple months ago. Take a look at my Etsy shop. I'll put the listing in the description so you can see what's in there. Also, I'll put a link to the video where I showed you these, okay, what's in these. And so these are on Etsy. So check these out on Etsy. If you want, you know, like if you're making journals and you would like to have, some really nice vintage paper to use in them, like onion skin and stuff like that. That's what's in here. So so check those out on Etsy. There's only 4 left. And then I've also got 10 of these page packs left. Okay, so these are the page packs that I made up when I gutted all of those school books and stuff, and I put dictionary pages and just all kinds of really amazing book pages in these. I just filled one of these kind of oversized envelopes with a bunch of awesome book pages. So if you would like one of these, I have 10 left. So that means that altogether I made 40 of them. So if you want one of these, send me an email. These are $35, and that includes shipping. And that would include I want to say that would include shipping on those kits too, but for $25 I can't ship those for that. So those would be, let's see, $33 with shipping. Okay, those kits. These would be $35 including shipping. Okay, so $35, $33, and then those other packs, those just the paper packs, those I believe I have listed at $25, and I think they ship for like $5 or something. But anyway, so those are on Etsy. But these, send me an email if you want one of those page packs. I guess I could open one of these real quick and show you, kind of give you an idea of what's in there. I'll just split this one open. But I want to do some crafty stuff with you guys too. Maybe I'll do another video just to do some crafty stuff with you guys. But anyway, so this particular pack has the guts from my Book House book. It's one of those really beautiful children's books that I made into journals a long time ago, and I still have the book blocks. Anyway, so see, it's just a whole collection of pages out of old readers and old math books, some just super yummy, grungy papers, different book pages. Okay, so there's some shorthand and spelling books, dictionary pages, lots of music. Just a really cool selection of different book pages. You know, some of those French books. This is that really big dictionary. There's a whole signature from that. Some music. Then there's music in each one too. So just great for collaging and stuff, or for whatever, for all kinds of stuff. Anyway, so these packs are $35, and that does include shipping on these. Okay, so if you want one of these page packs, send me an email, and I will do, again, I'll do a PayPal invoice for these also. Okay, so there's 10 of those available. So I'm working on, I might as well just do some crafty stuff now, just to kind of give you guys an idea of what I've been doing. So when I've been working on these charms, I'm pulling out all these different letters, mostly anagram letters. So these are anagram letters, in case you've never seen them. It's just a word game from 50s, 60s, 70s, whatever. Anyway, so I had some metal letters too. These are brass. These came from like a letter press or something, I don't know. And then a bunch of Scrabble. So I've just been putting a little screw eye into them, drilling a hole, and then putting a little screw eye in them so that they hang from the top. So I wanted to do that. I am doing that, but I wanted to do some other little charm type of things on those also. So I've had this, I don't know. I have this giant bag full of just all these wooden pieces. You know, this is actually not wood. This is made of stone, just like marble or something. I think it was from a backgammon set. Anyway, so just tons of these. These are from a bingo set, you know, just these little red markers, and then, you know, the bingo letters. But I thought it would be kind of fun to just, you know, add something interesting to those and use them for charms. Like, see, there's a whole bunch of these little wooden pieces, and then, you know, like these are from checkers set, you know. There's some pink ones and some black ones, and then there's a whole, I have tons of dominoes too. So I want to use some of the dominoes and a bunch of these, like these little letters. These are from some other game, you know, I don't know, but like I could put something on the back of them. So I've got all these little wooden pieces. Here's my bag of dominoes and stuff that I want to, you know, I got to use these things. And then a whole bunch of dice too, like all these different dice. And these make really cool charms, I think. And especially, I have these ones. There's all these white ones in here. I don't know what game these came out of, but they don't really have much on them. Like, it's just this. See, there's another one. So all they have is like this little bowling pin. Well, I guess, see, like this one. Like this one just has the little bowling pin, and then it's blank all the way around. So I don't know what game that was. But anyway, so I thought it would be kind of fun to just make some of these into some little charms, but adding to them, like especially those white ones. And the other thing I have a ton of are postage stamps. So I thought, okay, let's just do postage stamps on each side, you know, because I think postage stamps are all the way cool, you know. They just have, each one is just such a cool little work of art, you know. Anyway, so here's what I'm doing, just to kind of give you guys an idea, maybe if you have a bunch of, you know, stuff like that, like those little wooden pieces or dominoes or even dice or Scrabble tiles. You can buy Scrabble tiles that are blank. Like, you can just buy the blank ones, and they're great to make charms with. So anyway, so I'm just using, this is just a nail file, and I'm just kind of scratching up the surface just a little bit, just so my glue will stick on there. And, you know, if there's any kind of dirt or oil on the dice, just kind of takes it off a little bit, kind of cleans it up. Now I'll talk to you about the ones that have the numbers and stuff in just a second, but I'm actually filling those. So I'll talk to you about what I'm filling them with here in a second. But yeah, just kind of roughen that up a little bit. Make sure you get every side just a little. Kind of knock down the glossiness that's on there. Okay. So let's pull out a couple of dominoes. So some of these little dominoes just have the they just have the dots just like painted on, or like a stencil or something. It's not actually like little holes. So those are fine to use just like that. You know, I don't really need to worry about it. But so I mean, it's up to you. Like, if you want to do this, then, you know, you do it however you want. But like, if you want to keep the dots on there and you just want to maybe put something on the back, then you don't have to worry about it, you know. But like on these little ones, I like to just use these as charms just as they are, you know. But I think they're kind of fun to do something on them too, like maybe even just on the back. But like these, I thought it would be neat to do some postage stamps on these too, and maybe even on both sides, or maybe do postage stamp on one side and then do something else on the other side, you know. I don't know. I mean, we could just get crazy with it, you know. But see, it just, I mean, it takes that off really easy. So, but that will hold the glue. So if you're using things like this where it's this like shiny plastic, get yourself a nail file or some kind of fine grit sandpaper. You could even lay it down and, you know, do it like that. And just kind of knock off that shininess a little bit. Okay. So then there's all these dominoes where you've got that texture on one side and then obviously the dots on the other side. So I like to kind of, since these are almost like brand new, they're still kind of glossy too. I still want to sand them just a little bit just to be sure that what I'm putting on there is going to stick. But for these and for like these bigger ones where, you know, like those dots are pretty deep. Obviously, like I said, I could just do something on the back of this. I don't have to, you know, so it would still retain its domino-ness, right? Like it would still be a domino. But if you don't care if it remains a domino, then, and say you want to fill those holes, good way to do it is to just make your own kind of like filler and fill those holes. So this is what I'm using, and you know, lots of people have different recipes for making like texture paste and stuff like that. Like there's all these recipes using glue and baby powder and gesso and all that kind of stuff. I happen to have a giant box of plaster of Paris, so I've been just taking some plaster of Paris, like a tablespoon, and a little bit of white gesso and a little bit of water, and just mixing that together in a little jar, just in a little jar. You could, now you don't want to use just plaster of Paris because it'll like, it won't stick very good. You have to use something that's going to stick, like gesso, or you could actually add glue to the plaster of Paris and that would work too. But I just happened to add a little bit of gesso anyway, and then just and you just mix them together. There's no like specific, it's like 50% gesso to about 50% plaster of Paris, with some water, with just a little bit of water, and then just stir it up. So then I'm just taking a palette knife and basically filling those holes. So it's sticking out, like the gesso or the, you know, filler is sticking out over the edge, but it doesn't really matter because I'm going to be sanding this anyway. So I'm not too worried about that little part that's sticking out. I'm just trying to create a smooth surface. I'm mostly just trying to fill the holes at the moment. And then I'm just putting them on a tray. Just putting them on a tray with some baking paper, you know, just to fill, just so they can set up. Now the plaster of Paris in this little baby food jar, even with the gesso, it's going to set up pretty fast. Like, I mean, even though it's got the gesso in it, that plaster still sets up pretty quick, like within about an hour, I would say. It says 30 minutes on the box for just the straight plaster of Paris, but when you mix it with the gesso, it takes a little bit longer. Anyway, so see, I'm just filling those holes in. And then you could do the same thing on the dice. So on the dice, you probably want to rough them up a little bit. Just rough up each side. And then just do the same thing. Just smash it on there. I mean, it's super tedious, right? Like this, it's kind of stuff is super tedious, and it doesn't really matter like if those little holes are on there anyway. Like, I don't know. I'm being very anal about it. Anyway, so it's kind of hard to hold on to the other two sides, but if you grab the corners, you can do it. You could even tint this a color if you wanted to. So I'm going to set this down on the baking paper, and then I'm going to fill in that last hole while it's sitting on the tray. And it's going to be all rough and yucky at first, but it doesn't matter because we're going to sand them anyways. Okay. So I have those done. Oh my gosh. So these are actually little yogurt jars that I bought on Amazon, or baby food jars, like if you make your own baby food, and they're awesome. Like 30, there was like a box of 30 of them for right around $20. And they're great because they have the little lids and stuff. And I actually do like to use them for yogurt in my Instant Pot. But anyway, so that's what I'm doing with the dominoes and the dice. Just kind of filling in the holes. So like this is actually kind of indented a little bit, so I probably would fill that too. And then, so that's fun. So see what happens when you use just the plaster? See, it comes out. I learned it the hard way. If you just use plaster, it comes right out. It doesn't work. So anyway, so I had to redo some of these, but it does work with just the gesso mixed with the plaster of Paris. Okay. If you're wondering why I don't just use the back of the domino, it's because it's got that texture on it too. So I'll probably fill the back of the domino too if it has that texture on it, because most of these bigger like wooden dominoes, they've got like a pattern on the back. Some have like an eagle, some have like a dragon or whatever. This one has like some crowns and stuff. So I need to redo this one, but see, the plaster just comes right out. It's just basically just like chalk. Anyway, so I'm gonna let those dry. But I just want to show you guys what I'm doing with these dice and with some of those other little wooden pieces, because it's kind of fun and a good way to use up postage stamps if you, like me, have a bunch of postage stamps. So let's pull some of these out. And I'm also going to use some other stuff too, but just to give you an idea of where my head's at with this project. So I'm just using, this is art glitter glue, and it will stick on the wood. You know, art glitter glue is pretty cool. It's actually considered an industrial glue. I don't know if you guys knew that. Anyway, so I'm just putting the glue on the round, and then I'm kind of positioning this where I want the image on there, you know, like what part of the stamp I want to show. And I like that little lion. There's like, this is like a French stamp, so it's got this little lion on it. And then take my handy dandy nail file and basically just go around the edges to trim the excess off. Yes, while the glue is still wet. And then you wind up with just a little piece of a postage stamp that's stuck on there pretty good, you know. And then you could do another one on the other side. Or you could paint these, or you know, you could do all kinds of stuff with them. But on the dice, it looks really cool. You just sort of have to work your way around. You know, add your glue. Not very much, like you don't need much at all. And then I've been just kind of spreading it out with my finger. Put my stamp on there. Kind of let it dry just a little bit. Doesn't have to be perfect, but you know, I'll just hold it down with my thumb, and then I use my nail file to just trim it off. See? It's so fun. It's so cool. Anyway, I love postage stamps. I just think they're so neat. Like each one is so special. It's like these little tiny special pieces of art. You know how much work goes into creating a postage stamp or a coin? Like how much they go through just to make a coin. It's crazy. Anyway, so I got that on. And so I think that, you know, doing this filing while the glue is still slightly wet actually helps it sort of adhere better, you know. It kind of like seals the glue around the edges really well. Do you know what I mean? Like, so it's not, I haven't had any trouble with it like lifting, you know. You do have to be kind of careful that you're not filing into your other sides, you know, like you have to be sort of careful with it, but like I just love all these little, it just makes you sort of look at stamps a little differently, you know what I mean? Like to actually see the images. So stick that one down, and then you're just saving part of it this way, you know. So I was doing this, you know, and I'll just put one on each side of the dice. So I'll set those aside for a second. And then I just pulled out my, let me get a little bit bigger pile over here. Anyway, so just all these little wooden pieces, you know. And I mean, these are cool just by themselves, but I thought, you know, I have so many of them, plus all these blank ones. I wanted to just make them more interesting. And so I started pulling out all kinds of stuff that I could use on these little charms. So we got the big box of random stuff for collaging. Little books. These are just ideas, okay? These are ideas for you guys to try. And these are some things that I think I'm going to use. I haven't used all this stuff, but this is just for ideas. Anyway, so I have these little tiny dictionaries. This is a little French dictionary, one of those little billy put ones. Some other small dictionaries, you know, like this one's falling apart. Oh, my phone's ringing. Sorry, guys. Anyway, so little dictionaries, you know, so I thought it would be fun to kind of go through these and find words that I like harmony, you know, and actually glue that word onto one of these little tiles, you know, just find specific words in the dictionaries that I like. And then I've got this box with just all of this random stuff in it. There's some postage stamps in here, little things that I've printed, just, you know, just all kinds of little doodads, you know, little labels, little flowers, Definitely want to use some green stamps on some of them, you know. So I'll just sit here and glue all kinds of things onto these little wooden pieces. One thing I did want to show you guys that I always do that I think is kind of fun is I take like my images, like say I have all these flower images, you know, print them out, select, I think it's 32 per page, 32 of them, maybe it's 36, I don't remember, and print them out as a contact sheet. So in your printer setting, like when you go to print, depending on your software, but or the manufacturer of your printer or whatever, print them as a contact sheet, and then you get all of these little tiny images, you know, that you can use for all these little tiny projects, you know. And so those are just kind of, I've had these in a box for forever. But you know, like little butterflies, and my grandma, some other dude, you know. Anyway, so just little flowers. So if you like, say, you know, if you bought like journal kits or images, digital images and stuff, select like 32 of them, print them out as a contact sheet on one page, and then you have a whole bunch of stuff that you can use on these little tiles, you know. Images like this where, you know, you can use these little tiny elements, print, you know, something like this 4 to a page, so that you get these little flowers or whatever. Anyway, so those are just some of the things that I wanted to use. Obviously book pages, these are just little, and I know you guys don't have a lot of this stuff, but this is just ideas. Like even just plain grid paper would be really cool, glued onto that, and then stamp something on it or something, you know. But I was looking for things that had little tiny numbers, little tiny words that I could use on these, you know, like these little, just little things, little words, little text, small text, or, you know, things that had elements that I like the number there, you know, or the word composition. Like I could even cut that apart and, you know, put that on a domino or something, do some little tiny collages on a domino, you know. You know, like math problems, or like look at the text on that. So some of the, like a lot of this paper is what's in those packages, by the way, just saying. Other book pages, different size texts, like this dictionary has some, I forget, this is one of those children's dictionaries that comes in the set of like 12 books, you know. Can't remember the name of it, but it's one of the ones where it's got like all these big drawings and everything, and then sort of like an encyclopedia in the beginning of the book, and then the back half of the book is like a dictionary. And I love that the entry words are in red. Can you guys see that? It's just, I don't know, it's just, it tickles me that they're in red. Anyway, so, and see like the little, just little images. Pieces from typing books are awesome to use on tiles. And see like all that yummy stuff. That stuff is cool for tiles. This book is amazing. Look at all that stuff that you could use in tiles. Somebody, one of my viewers actually saw this book somewhere and sent me a message saying, you need to get this book. And so I promptly went on eBay and found this book and bought it, because look at all that stuff. Awesome. Anyway, and then obviously, you know, some music. So those are just my ideas of things to do. Now, as far as preserving these, couple things you can do. I used on some of these, I'll show you. So these are just stamps, okay? So these ones are just postage stamps. on a little tile, okay? And I used the triple thick. It's made by Deco Art. I know that they sell it. It's just like, what's that stuff that everybody uses that's, I don't use it, so I can't ever remember what it's called, but it's like diamond glaze, or somebody tell me in the comments, because you know what I'm talking about. That stuff that everybody uses that is like, it's a Ranger product. It's kind of like a pink label on the bottle. Anyway, sorry. Anyway, but I use triple thick because it's exactly the same as that stuff. Okay, but it's like a third the price for 3 times as much product. Literally, like you get a big jar of it for less than half what you pay for a tiny jar of that other stuff that I can't remember the name of. Anyway, so if you use that, the triple thick, it comes in a jar kind of like this, right? Like with a screw top. But I always put it in a bottle because that's how that other stuff comes, and it works really well. If you can find these little bottles that have this little screw top, those work really well. And like I've had this bottle of triple thick for a couple years, and it's still perfectly good in that bottle. It's actually better when you're working on a little tiny thing like this to have a smaller bottle, but you don't want to store it in this because it'll be a nightmare. Like you don't want to put it, like you could use a bottle like this with the little needle tip, but it'll be a nightmare. It'll dry up and it'll be such a huge headache. You'll just get mad and probably throw it in the garbage. But once I get a whole bunch of these tiles done, what I will probably do is put some of this triple thick into this bottle because it's got a smaller tip on it. And so just saying, like it's easier to apply onto something small with a finer tip than a big tip like this. Even though this isn't huge, it's still, you know, like more comes out than you want at one time, but this is more controllable is what I'm trying to say. Anyway, so when you're applying the triple thick on something where you have like a sharp edge around it, the viscosity of that, as long as you don't use too much, will make it so that it doesn't go over the edge. Like it'll stay on the top. Okay. That's one thing I like about triple thick, is that it'll just kind of pool up on the top. Sometimes I will take my little awl or something, or like a pin, just to kind of push it out to the very edge, just to be sure that it's all the way out to the very edge. Some of these I inked around it before I did the triple thick. If you do that, I recommend using like an archival ink. Use something that's permanent ink. Don't use like vintage photo or any other kind of like pigment ink. You want to use a dye-based ink like archival. Otherwise, the ink will bleed into that wet adhesive. It'll bleed into this, and it'll just look really weird. Now, sometimes postage stamps react weird with this stuff too. Like blue will turn bright pink or something. Like something about the inks on the actual postage stamp just alter the color. It's weird when it reacts with this stuff. So, you know, if you're really worried about that, then I would recommend giving your little tiles a quick spray of some kind of sealant first, and then you can apply your triple thick, and that'll kind of seal the ink on the tile before you apply the triple thick. So I always let this stuff dry like a couple days, at least 3 days, because it stays kind of tacky. Like, it honestly takes about 10 days to 2 weeks for this stuff to really set up to where it's like super hard and they won't stick together. Like, if these sat together face to face for days, like in a jar or something, or in like a little box, they would kind of get stuck together a little bit unless they really, really sat. Like, you have to let these cure for quite a while. Anyway, so that's the triple thick. So just a couple other little ideas. I did do some stamping on some of these little guys with my little just little peg stamps, you know, and use the archival ink. And then, so I just did little stamps. And I love these little peg stamps, but I totally forget that I have them all the time. And I don't know why I have so many of them, but just little flowers and stuff. And they're just really fun to use on little round things or little square things, but little things. Okay, so I'll just pull. These are all the ones that I did. So this one, I stamped a butterfly. I stamped a butterfly just on the wood, you know, just on the wood, the back of this little guy. And then I used some stickles, the little stickles glue, you know, and just did his wings, and then let that dry, and then I coated it with the triple thick. Okay, this is a terrible camera view, but it just doesn't look that great on camera. Anyway, and then I'll drill a little hole in the top and make that and just a little charm. You know, it's just charming. Anyway, so some of them that one's triple thick also. See, that's like a little number, and I just did some post. So this one, the ink kind of acted weird with the triple thick. So see what I mean? Like, it kind of bled into the coating a little bit, so it sort of altered it. You could still see the little image in real life. You can't see it very good on this camera. But here's one or two actually that I thought were kind of cool. I just used book pages. I actually used this little Lilliput dictionary, glued that down onto my tile, and then I did some stamping over the top of it, and I thought that looked kind of cool. But I don't know if you guys can see, but see that pink that's in there? That is actually from the ink on the edges of this tile. So you get some kind of weird effects when you use that triple thick on top of inks. So just be aware of that. Anyway, but this is book page with a little stamp of a butterfly and then some stickles and then triple thick. Like, it just went crazy. But these ones, I just did a little stamp. I just stamped a little image. Some of them I stamped with different colors of ink. Some of them I actually colored with little fine tip markers after I stamped them. Like this little blue flower, I actually colored that with a marker, and then that little button, I stamped it with black and then colored it with my little fine tip markers. So that one was too dark, but anyway, and then I sprayed these with a clear coat. So that's the other option, is just to use like a clear coat. Because so here's another dice that I did the other day, and so like I used book page on one side. It's got, what was the word? Atomic is the word on there that I thought was cool. So I used some postage stamps, and then I did use one of the anagrams. These are the little paper anagram ones. Anyway, just little words, little letters and stuff. I left the bowling pin on that side. And then since obviously doing triple thick on each side of this would take forever, because I'd have to do it on one side, let it dry for 2 days, and then do the other side, let it dry for 2 days. You know, it would take me like 10 days just to coat one little dice. So I actually sprayed this. I sat it down on this side. This was the side that was down because I knew I didn't need to really spray that, although I probably will spray it anyways. Anyway, so that side down, and then I very lightly sprayed it with the triple thick crystal clear glaze by Krylon. So this stuff is awesome. This is what I've used on, like, I've used this on journal covers. I've used it for a lot of things, but anyway, it's a really cool, thick, clear coat, and it's high gloss. And you don't need very much. Like, just a really light coat on this wood, like, gives it a little bit of a gloss, and it kind of seals it. Be careful though when you're doing this, because what was happening, I put them in a little box, in like a little box, little lid of a cardboard thing, you know, and I set them all in there to spray them, and as soon as I hit it, they all went flying, because this comes out so fast, like, so with such force. So when you're spraying your clear coat on these little tiny little lightweight things, back up, like, be kind of far away and just be very gentle when you're spraying, like short little bursts of from far away. Anyway, just word to the wise. So that's what I'm doing, and you know, if you guys want to see more of this little project, let me know. I'd be happy to come back and maybe do some more collaging on the dominoes, some of the larger pieces. I do want to fill more of the dominoes with the plaster, and then, you know, so I can work on them. So maybe I'll do that over the next couple days, but I got to get those those tiles done for you guys, the charms for the people that bought the journals. I really want to try to get those finished. But I wanted to, I just wanted to show you guys this because I thought it was kind of fun, and, you know, lots of people might have these little pieces, and, you know, you can cover them with just about anything and just kind of alter them a little and make them interesting. You know, like I stamped on both sides of these. You know, if you don't have peg stamps, like that one's a little bee, it's so cute. If you don't have peg stamps, just, you know, any kind of little stamp, even just like text, or, you know, some kind of text stamp or script. I mean, you know, anyway, okay, that's it. I love you guys. I'll talk to you soon. Okay, bye for now.